Very rarely do I say anything where I'm like, yeah, I don't think that can be left in. That was one of the things where I was like, yeah, I was kind of taking a joke too far. Things are changing around here. We are building a setup, time-lapse shot. Was there a time-lapse shot there? We wanted to actually make a proper set. But anyway, yeah, this setup is temporary. Next week, for the episode 2, will be a better setup.
Will it be called the episode 2?
Maybe. Okay, let's talk about it. Inside Out 2. So I think a lot of people have been surprised when they ask, oh my god, what do you think of Inside Out 2? That my response is, oh, no, thank you.
You know the insider secrets.
Well, I saw it the day before it was actually announced. Who did the article? I've got this written down, my sources. I don't even... Oh, Puck News. They released like some tweets saying Inside Out 2 confirmed with the story like a day before they announced it. I feel like the general response to Inside Out 2 being announced is going to be enthusiastic. I'm happy for anyone that is genuinely excited for it, and I'm sure I will watch and enjoy the film. I'm not trying to say I'm going to go into this super negatively and hate it. I'm probably going to come out of it and go, yeah, that was amazing. Because yeah, I know sometimes when like a Star Wars movie or something comes out, there are people just actively going in ready to hate it regardless of what happens.
So what's your reason for questioning this decision?
Well, firstly, I feel like it goes against what they said. I think this is the primary thing. They said they were going to make no sequels for the foreseeable future. I spent all day looking for a quote, where this quote came from. The Hollywood Reporter, Mark Nielsen, the producer of Toy Story 4, said, it's all original films after this one right now.
Right now. Now that's an important bit.
But it's been like 5 films since they released Toy Story 4. 5 years. And they're just already taking their most successful original movie from the last 10 years and just throwing out a sequel to it immediately. I feel like the general consensus in the fandom, at least, was, oh, they're going to go like a decade now without making a sequel. At least when I think about it, I would split Pixar's movies up into like decades, I guess, where you have the decade of originals and then you have the decade of sequels, and then we would have another decade of originals.
Is Pixar struggling?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, Vegard, you are good at this. Thank you. Lightyear at the box office did not massively do well, did it? Lightyear box office. 226 million at the box office. Let's go Lightyear. Which is sad because I really wanted Lightyear to be this huge success story that if they were to make a sequel to any Pixar film over the last 10 years, it would have been Lightyear. That's what I wanted a sequel for, because I felt there was so many directions they could take that story and they almost limited themselves in that movie. I'm not opposed entirely to Pixar sequels. I just felt they made a promise. Every Pixar video I do about a new movie, I'm like, what does this mean for the new era of Pixar? And now it's just like, oh, maybe that new era was short-lived. Maybe after Inside Out 2, we're getting Coco 2.
At least Inside Out 2 is an interesting concept for a sequel. Whereas if they made, I don't even know, Luca 2, I'd be like, wow.
There are some that they just should never touch. Yeah. I'm thinking Up.
Yeah, oh my god. If there's
Wall-E. I actually really agree with that. I think if you were to have asked me 5 years ago when Toy Story 4 came out no, that wasn't 5 years ago, sorry. Oh, what did I just say? Back to the point, wow, this really is just like, I completely agree. Out of the movies they have made in the last 10 years, original movies they have made, which there aren't that many. We've got Brave, The Good Dinosaur, Inside Out, Coco. That's pretty much it. I guess you got Onward, Soul, Luca, Turning Red. Out of all those, I think the one that rationalizes a sequel the most would probably be Inside Out, because I feel like they almost tease a sequel at the end. They introduced the concept of her going through puberty at the end. He's like, what will that puberty button do? There were definitely fun concepts to explore. One thing I really liked about Inside Out was when they went into other people's heads during the film. I know they only did it like once during the actual movie, and then they had a whole end credits scene where they did it as well. And I thought that was one of the most fascinating parts, and they only do it once. In another movie, they could go into people's heads all the time and explore all sorts of stuff like that. And even the short movie, Riley's First Date, which was a follow-up to Inside Out, I thought did a really good job of kind of showing two people's brains. Yeah, I think Inside Out is probably the film that rationalizes a sequel and I think would have the best results. as a sequel. For that reason, I'm probably going to love it when it comes out. It's just, they broke a promise that they made.
To you specifically.
To me personally, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to be great. Why is this have I just changed my mind mid-video? But there are further issues I have with this film. And I think one of the main ones is the fact that, and I'm going to need to read this off the screen, Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling aren't returning. Okay, I'm going to say that again. So, Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling are not returning for this film.
Wait, Seamus, you have a problem with actors not returning now? I thought you were fine with that.
Well, Vegard, thank you for raising this very good point. Why would I not have had a problem when they replaced Dash in The Incredibles?
They replaced Dash, but he became older.
Yeah, that's why I didn't have a problem with that. This is the thing that annoys me, is that I really think Mindy Kaling is one of the best parts of that movie. It's also, I just don't get the financials with it at all. Apparently, and this is, again, according to Puck News, the ultimate resource of this information, Amy Fowler has been offered $5 million to return for this film and star in this film. But apparently Mindy Kaling and Bill Hader were only offered $100K each. I don't get the maths here. The maths isn't mathing right.
And that's like a reasonable source.
They were right about the film coming out and everything. Also, when announcing the film, they announced Amy Fowler returns. I'm actually not sure I'm pronouncing her name right.
We're here with the wonderful Amy Poehler, everybody.
Okay. I don't get where the maths is here, because if she's getting $5 million, how are Mindy Kaling and what was his name? Bill Hader. Bill Hader only getting 100K. I would be like twice as excited for the movie. From like a not very excited to like moderately not excited. I don't know, to like a medium level. I mean, as I said, I don't always have a problem with characters not returning. I brought up Dash as an example just there. And then there's also an example of Buzz Lightyear, who was originally played by Tim Allen. And in the Lightyear movie, he was played by Chris Evans. I feel more excited now I've spoken to you about it for some reason, Vegard. My logic was, between 1999 and 2010, they did only originals. And then I thought the reason it changed was because Disney bought Pixar in 2006. Because that's how Disney were like, we want to make money from this. The sequels did make more money, except for the one standout movie, Inside Out, which made about $900 million as an original, which is fantastic. So what did they do? Let's make a sequel to that one. My opinions are reserved about Inside Out 2 because I wanted them to make originals. And actually on the topic though, I think the originals they have announced coming up before Inside Out 2 are great. They look great. We've got Elemental. They released like a first look image from Elemental the other day. It seems to be a story about a fire creature and a water creature becoming friends.
Oh yeah, right.
And I'm sure Elemental will be great. They've also just announced a new movie called Elio, which is a new Pixar space movie. A boy who finds himself transported across the galaxy and mistaken for the intergalactic ambassador for planet Earth. And that's coming out spring 2024. So both those movies are coming out before Inside Out 2. I do want to give some attention to Elemental and Elio as well, because I don't want to just spend this whole video going, I don't want Inside Out 2 and not bring attention to the fact they are doing 2 more originals before it comes out, which would mean we've had 7 in a row if we're counting Lightyear as an original, which I feel like kind of counts, but you know. But there's just not as much to say about them, I guess. I can go off things with Inside Out because we've had a whole movie there and talk about what they set up and we know about the cast and everything. With Elio and Elemental, I have about 2 images to work with. But I am excited for both of those. I'm sure I'm going to give raving reviews for both of them when they come out. As long as they both come out to cinemas and we don't let them bomb at the box office. Cinemas have they're weird right now in my opinion, because people go see blockbusters and that's it. The only movie that I think did way better than I thought it would this year was Top Gun Maverick, but it's still a relatively big franchise being Top Gun, and it's a long-awaited sequel, so I guess it isn't the biggest shock in the world that did well, and it's apparently a really good movie. I haven't actually seen it. So I've been to a couple movies that aren't your typical big blockbuster movies this year, being Everything Everywhere All at Once, Nope.
But that was highly anticipated.
That was, yeah. But
and Nope was as well.
I was just saying they're not Marvel movies that are grossing billions. I'm curious to see the comeback of animation in cinemas now as well, because it's due to happen at some point. I wonder how much Minions Rise of Gru made. You know how much it made? 900 million. Animation is back at the box office. But I also think that was probably part of Lightyear's downfall. I guess if you're a parent and we're gonna bring your kid to see an animated movie this summer, you took them to see Minions: The Rise of Gru, not Lightyear. What did we get up to this week, Vegard? We went to a movie premiere on Tuesday, and I wasn't there either. You were there. Here's the video footage of Vegard at the event. Then we went to my good friend and Vegard's colleague Noah Fintz's gig. I call him your colleague because you are both part of the LGBTQ plus community. But anyway, I assume Noah's concert was good. Here's a live reaction of Vegard at the concert.
That's great.
Do you want to go through the rest of Disney's announcements?
What were they?
They announced a bunch of live action remakes.
No. Are you serious?
Yeah, loads. Peter Pan and Wendy, Snow White.
Wait, Peter Pan is already live action.
Yeah, I don't know what that... Oh yeah, I forgot they did that. I've forgotten about that. They've announced a new Lion King prequel called Mufasa, the Lion King. They consider it a live action movie, which is weird, but it's all animated. I don't know. They've announced a Disenchanted, a sequel to the 2007 movie Enchanted.
What was Enchanted?
You know the live-action Disney princess movie where she's animated and then she travels into the live-action, like into the real world in the movie?
The New York one.
Yeah. Vegard, tell me about High School Musical 4.
High School Musical, the series, High School Musical 4.
That's not a real title!
The cast of High School Musical returned to the school to film High School Musical 4, and the cast of High School Musical, the series, get to be extras in the movie High School Musical 4.
I don't know when this just became a Disney news show. And more in Disney news, we have the rest of the announcements. There's also just like more fandom stuff. Percy Jackson finally got a teaser trailer. I'm not gonna lie, the Percy Jackson trailer just looks like it was ripped straight out of the books. I'm trying not to show too much enthusiasm right now because I'm tired. It looks absolutely fantastic and I can't wait, and I just love it and I think it's perfect and I can't wait. I feel like with like Disney Plus series, they kind of just, they're all the same now. I think they've lowered the expectation for TV, and that's what I'm kind of nervous about with Percy Jackson, because now when anyone comes out with anything half decent, I'm like, oh my god, this is so good, because Disney Plus shows, because Marvel are grinding out like, what, 5 shows a year. I feel like it just lowers the standard of TV, and I'm not even a hater of their shows. They just feel cheap almost. And like you've seen some bits of me watching She-Hulk, right?
I walked in and I was like, this looks like live action Shrek.
Okay. I really enjoyed this this episode of White Walls and
White people.
White people. That's the series. White Walls and White People. You know what? As a treat for you, I'm going to record the outro once the setup has started to be built. New background, we've made progress. This is a new series I want to try. I don't know what it's going to be called or what we're going to talk about yet, so maybe that's what you can help me with. Give me some feedback about how much you enjoyed this video and what you want to hear me talk about in the episode 2. Thanks for watching. Make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this style. Subscribe, watch another video, check out my Patreon in the description down below. So yeah, make sure to check that out, and yeah, cool, bye.